Oh, the weather outside is frightful,
but inside is so delightful.
It's Christmas in July.
Let's review.
Let's review
Let's review.
You
And me.
Season
3.
Bum.
Well, missed my cue just a little bit, but what are you going to do? How you doing, BlueDragonFive? We are back for Christmas in July after taking a little bit of a break from it last week because, freaking had to deal with Disneyland and crowds all weekend long last week, but I digress. I'm back here now, Dragon, and we are going to marathon through some Christmas goodness before the end of the month. Starting with this Christmas special, which I got to say, Dragon, you're going to have to do some convincing for me because I am not really sure what to make of this one, and you're the one that picked it out. But before we get into that, you know what podcast is not divisive? You know what podcast just is just totally agreeable to everyone, unlike this particular Christmas special for me?
Which one?
It's the Myth Machine podcast. It's what happens when you take 4 funny people and improv a movie based on a random story generator really, really fast. That's right, folks. The Movie Machine crew dropped by Christmas in July just last night to hear us out for our Super Academy Christmas pitches, and they've got much better things to be doing with their time because they're running this awesome podcast. Episode 21, that's right, they're past the 20s, they're into 21. It's a hip-hop influenced sci-fi comedy starring Sean Paul, Morgan Freeman, and a bunch of other people. It's called Return to Saturn, features Kyle Decker, Jacob Gulliver, Ben Lifson, and this week's special guest, Isaac Sunleaf. Oh my god. So check that out at hotchocolatemedia.net. All right, BlueDragonFive. So Bob Newhart, I've got to say, I've not watched a single damn episode of the show in my life. The fact that it's based on group therapy has me a little hesitant because I've got some personal background in group therapy, and it's not very pleasant, and it's not generally a thing I like to talk about all that much, so I'm going to try and keep my personal thoughts out of this. I do think this is kind of the one thing I have to kind of say about this episode, that it's not really the episode's fault, it's just kind of the time period, is that this is a very dated look at therapy just in general, and therapy just doesn't really work like this anymore, and there's a couple things in here just from someone who does suffer from mental illness myself and who does require therapy. It's like, there's a couple things in here that make me a little uncomfortable. It's not the show's fault. It's just therapy as a science, has kind of come a long way since the 70s. So I just kind of want to keep that in mind. I'm not going to try and, get all personal with this all the time, but it is it's one of those personal biases that I have hanging against this that I know isn't fair, but I can't really see past. So with that in mind, BlueDragonFive, why did you pick the Bob Newhart show to be a selection here?
Well, I got a lot of love for Bob Newhart. He's kind of he's classic Americana, that Bob Newhart. He's kind of the master of dry delivery. He's kind of one of the ultimate straight men in that regard. And, I heard that as we were looking through our kind of list of big old Christmas specials to talk about, I kind of looked at Newhart there. Says, I've been waiting for an excuse to check out the Bob Newhart show, and because I love the premise of the show. Okay, it's Bob Newhart playing a therapist. I thought, okay, it's interesting. Of all people to be a therapist, that guy. Of course, he has the perfect dry delivery, and the premise of the show is quite simple. It was actually, I don't really have a lot of background, just the premise, really. The premise is really clever. Is that in the beginning, in the opening little thing you see there, Bob Newhart had a stand-up act, Tiki, where he would answer the phone, and basically the audience would get the whole other side of the conversation as he just delivers it to you straight. But it's like the most insane stuff you've ever heard.
Okay.
And that's why in the beginning he picks up the phone and says hello, because it's referencing what gave him the show. I mean, it's Bob Newhart's comedy.
Gotcha.
And basically, I just kind of love that premise. I wanted to see kind of like what an episode that was. And again, I've seen the other show he's done. The other show he did is Newhart, which I think might tickle your fancy a little bit more. It's Bob Newhart. He owns. He's still pretty much. He always kind of plays himself, just in a different occupation, pretty much. But,
right.
But basically, it's Bob Newhart. I think he runs a bed and breakfast in the show just called Newhart. they're like a tap. It's like kind of a small business of some kind that kind of people go and they kind of have a bite to eat, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Point is, this show though I do I think it's really hinges upon Bob Newhart. I think it's really likable. I think it was really kind of humble, and I liked it. In terms of the therapy again, I don't think there's anything ostensively super inaccurate about this, but I mean there might be some. There was a buy at the end, of course.
It's not necessarily inaccurate. It's just kind of like archaic, and like a therapist could not get away with pulling something like this off these days, even if they wanted to. And
but again, that's a dated thing, so you can't really hold it. I know you're not going to. I'm just saying.
I already said I'm not going to. So
exactly. I'm just saying. I think the fundamentals of the therapy, or I mean, what he says in the therapy sessions, I think are pretty on the money. Just like now, it's. Anyway, point is, I thought this was a good watch. Let's go through it.
Okay. So we have now Dragon. I'm sorry. Is this Woody Allen or is it not Woody Allen?
It is not Woody Allen, but it sounds remarkably.
It looks very much and sounds very much like Woody Allen. Does it not?
Whether that's intentional or not, I couldn't tell you, but I'm saying he looks identical to Woody Allen, though.
I thought, I was like, okay, if it was Woody Allen, I think they'd probably make a big deal out of it in the intro credits, which they didn't. But at the same time, I was kind of like half thinking to myself, I can't tell if that's him or not throughout this whole episode. So, anyways, so we have
Bob's holding a group there. Again, it's Bob, but the character's name is Bob. I believe it's Dr. Bob Hartley, if I'm remembering that correctly, but we're just calling him Bob or Dr. Bob for short.
Dr. Bob.
Keep it informal. Kind of like the Muppets, Dr. Bob, you have to operate on this spec. Anyway, so point is, Dr. Bob here is holding a group therapy session for his patients. Barry recalls a red bike his brother received, where he did not receive that. Tiki, what did he receive instead?
Corduroy windbreaker and 6 pairs of jockey shorts.
Not ideal. And then basically the group therapy members, again, I think this is pretty much an accurate representation of therapy. People sharing some experiences that kind of help ease the guy through a point of realization here, where he says, maybe they wanted you to feel warm and secure. He says, I never thought of it that way. And then Bob Newhart kind of expositing the point of this thing. Well, that's kind of the advantage of group therapy. Get kind of some other perspectives in view here, kind of help us get the realizations.
Which
pretty
is not
nice.
Inaccurate. Yeah.
That's nice. Also, I want to mention one of the guys here, Ken, the guy with the song later on, who's in this scene. It's not that Ken. Or Michael Keaton. But no. Ken here is played by a fantastic character actor I loved in Get Smart. The guy's in a bunch of things. His name is, believe it or not, King Moody.
Okay.
And King Moody is he's an excellent character actor, and he's just usually in Get Smart he played the right hand man to the villain. He always had he was like the comic sidekick to the villain, Stalker. Basically, he was all like he says, well, basically we do this or we do that, and then Siegfried, the guy in charge, is like, Stalker, this is chaos. We don't do like whatever the guy was doing. That's kind of the right. Point is, so I love King Moody. I'm so happy to see him in this. Anyway, so. Point is, again, they offered the advice. Bob tries to switch over to. Let's talk about some good Christmas experiences.
And I will admit, this was a clever, kind of subtle gag. Nobody has any Christmas experiences that are good. Anybody? I don't know how familiar are you with, aside from Elf, how familiar are you with Bob Newhart? Honestly, the thing I know him most from is the Rescuers movies.
Okay.
That is obviously Rescuers Down Under. That's probably the role I know him most from.
All right, that's fair. I just want to say, you really get to see kind of the classic Bob Newhart delivery. Again, the comedy delivery. He's the mastery over kind of the pause and just kind of the deadpan delivery. And it was again, he's not trying to be sarcastic or anything. He's just genuinely asking. That moment of pause it brings down the house every time, because it's like just taking it in. It's selling the gag in a way.
I can definitely say I've experienced firsthand. Therapy groups around Christmas time. It's nope, Christmas time pretty much sucks.
Yep. Let's see. So then,
Newhart's kind of scraping for things that are good, like gifts,
Christmas
decorations,
can be tough.
Snow, and rock soup, of course. A nice can of rock soup. Getting a tubaphone in your oversized stocking. That's always a warm feeling.
Basically, he's saying, well, there are good things around the holidays, and Barry, I think, says, name one. Things like getting gifts. Again, first of all, he's just these like searching for anything aside from the material side of it. Gifts, decorations, snow, Santa's ringing bells, which then depresses Barry because it reminds him of kind of like Santa Claus from Skid Row.
And I must say, like, that is very accurate. It's like those people that do ring the bells usually are like, they're basically the holiday version of carnies.
Yes. Then we get kind of the running gag, kind of like they all kind of realize, oh, we have like a tight lump of sadness in our stomachs right now, and Bob ends the meeting, and this I love. This is one, I love these sort of things. Here is love where ending the session, he says, oh, he wants to remind everyone Christmas can be a loving time, and I have a gift for all of you. This no charge for this session. That's nice. That is an awesome gesture around the holidays. A free therapy session. How nice.
Sure.
Okay, let's see. So Bob comes home. He's greeted by his loving wife, Emily. A little mistletoe gag. He says, look up. Hey, it's mistletoe. It's not on a hat or anything, but still, it's pretty good.
No, not on a hat, unfortunately. Not on like an elaborate fishing wire setup.
I gotta say, I think, again, this will be my first exposure to this show with Bob Newhart. I gotta say, I think Emily's really charming. I like the whole married dynamic he has with him and his wife here. Like, they're a really sweet, loving couple.
Certainly a better dynamic than we have with another married couple we're going to get into later tonight.
Certainly.
a little foreshadowing there.
Okay, let's see. So Bob reveals he's been Christmas shopping for her. She questions, "What'd you get me?" Nothing. And again, the pause just sells it. Nothing yet.
Yeah.
The stores are crowded around the holidays. He stood in line 10 minutes to get out. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I could see that.
She tells him to sit, get his mind off gifts, despite being surrounded by Christmas presents.
I'm going to point out the one gripe I have with this episode right now, Dragon, now.
Don't tell me it's the fruit.
No. I love the fruit.
The fruit's hilarious.
I don't like how we have this big side plot of, the wife getting all the awesome presents. Yeah. Especially because when we see we'll get to it later. Anyways.
I will say this, though. Isn't it kind of refreshing that we don't have to worry about
because I want to see those presents. We'll get to it.
Oh, well, we'll get to it. I don't know.
All that wrapping looks so cool. She went through so much effort.
Okay. We'll get back to it. Point is, so you sit down, you take your mind off Christmas gifts, and then she's making conversation. She's asking, what should I get your Uncle Harry and Aunt May? No, not that Aunt May. Wait, you have an aunt with the same name?
Oh, God, don't even start, man. Don't even start.
And then, it wouldn't be a fight because it's Bob Newhart. He'd say, yes, I do.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so the point is, I love Bob Newhart. He's such kind of cleverness behind these lines, dude. Just saying, what did we get him last year? Again, the writing on this is really nice. I thought. What did we get him last year? Fruit basket. Well, they must have eaten it by now. Everyone loves. Let's send them another basket. Fruit's really nice around the holidays. What amount? What dollar amount of baskets? $3, $7, $20 basket. Well, what did they send us last year? Nothing. Why are we sending them anything?
And this is kind of a nice running trope with Bob. Do you think? Now, let me ask you this. I was kind of struggling to come up with a Scrooge this episode. Do you think Bob is? I don't think he's a Scrooge just because of this whole not wanting to. It's a very minor thing. He's like, oh, well, but it is kind of prevalent throughout the episode, kind of this whole idea of if they didn't get us anything, then we don't get them anything, and we have to kind of one-up their presence.
I don't know. I think just the whole therapy group's a Scrooge.
The whole therapy group? Okay, fair enough.
I mean, they had the arc, so they must be the whole
group
therapy.
Scrooge!
There's a first. It's a mob of Scrooges. Run!
I also think Phineas and Ferb were going to have to come up with something for that.
Yeah, that one's gonna be tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun though. It's gonna be fun. Anyways.
Anyway, let's see. But again, I think there's such kind of clever back and forth dialogue between these two here. It's like a fun little comedy sketch again. It's really, really fun. I think it's the best thing I can say about this special overall. I think there's some really nice kind of tight knit, kind of clever writing in places. With kind of the dialogue. So then, Newhart kind of corrects himself here. He only apologizes and like, I love this terminology. I never hear this terminology these days. Oh, how mercenary I sound. But you don't hear that anymore. That's so
right.
refreshing to hear. Oh, I must sound like how mercenary I sound. Now I'm sorry for that. He says, yeah, sure, we'll send on a basket. Send the $3 basket. Just again the pause of like, $3 baskets.
And then they're asking what they can get for Glenn Quagmire. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean Howard.
Their neighbor Howard, not Hamlin. Otherwise, they would have gotten tea.
Oh God.
Or golf clubs.
Who happens to be an airplane pilot, of course.
No, but this Tiki. So
here's the thing. I must say, this guy was probably the most likable guy in the special for me, and I know like nothing about the character, but for me, it was just kind of like, he's just kind of the chill guy. He's not really into the therapy thing, but he's going with it. I liked him. I appreciated him.
Oh yeah, so let me clarify this. So our reoccurring characters. So basically our core cast. That's Newhart. It's Newhart, Emily, his wife. That's Bob. It's Emily. It's Howard, the pilot neighbor here. His secretary, who you meet later in a funny gag, and the dentist. Basically, they share a dentist office next to on the same floor, dentist office and the therapy office. And basically, those are our reoccurring characters. Following that, the therapy group is like it's a guest actor each time.
Is it okay? Okay.
With the exception of, I hear like there are 3 reoccurring patients, but I mean, one of them I was so hoping he was going to be in this episode because it's someone you and I are familiar with. It's Stu Pickles from the Rugrats.
Oh no! That would have been.
Unfortunately, he was not in this episode, but Anyway, so let's see. So so what to get Howard? We can get him. We can't get him fruit. You can get that at the airport. You can get anything he wants on the airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we get him some shoes. Why shoes? Well, he's always wearing those airline shoes even when we play tennis. What size? That man has told me many intimate. I assume he's a patient. That man has told me many intimate things, not his shoe size.
Right. Oh, that's one thing that kind of bugs me about this episode. Just, oh God, I hate to bring this up, Dragon. I hate to bring this up.
Don't tell me.
Doctor-patient confidentiality.
Oh, I thought you were going to go something else. Okay.
No. Doctor-patient confidentiality. It gets broken a lot this episode.
Okay, well, look. Okay, 2 things.
And it's like the holy grail rule of therapy.
Okay, well, look. 2 things. One, I'm assuming he's a patient. There's a chance he might not be because they're friends and just maybe over the years he's told himself. So that one might be a loophole there. I mean, I don't really recall him sharing anything. I think there is somewhat. I could be crazy here, but I think I've heard before on different occasions that there might be somewhat of a loophole as long as you. Like I've actually talked to like some actual doctors now and again. Not for me. I've taken a few classes over the years over abnormal psychology. It's all. Point is, I think I've heard once, if I'm recalling this correctly, is that as long as you can use patients as a case example, as long as you don't give names or specifics, there's a chance I think that's a loophole you actually could get away with.
Well, look, I'm saying it's a messy thing, and I don't really want to address it further, but just waving the flag right here that I do think the doctor-patient confidentiality thing gets kind of busted a few times in the episode. Again, not going to bring it up and make a big deal out of it because I know it's harmless and they weren't really thinking about it. I don't even know if the doctor-patient confidentiality thing was a thing at the time, but just
I'm sure it was a thing. I'm just saying he might not be breaking it if it's like a friend thing. Again, I could just be wrong. Maybe he's a friend.
Yeah, fair enough.
Point is, moving on. Howard arrives. We have a mistletoe callback, and a woman, the wife of his best friend, kisses him and looks up. Oh, it's mistletoe. Okay, everything's fine. He's stopping by to deliver a gift. He sits down for a bit, and I just love this clever, again, like a gag without any dialogue. He sits down, and Bob's just trying to kind of figure out his shoe size, kind of lifting his shoe by comparison, just trying to look and figure it out. Obviously, that's a no-go, so he asks...
What do you take, Howard? A 9, 9.5, 10?
Why are you asking me that? I guess I love how defensive he's getting. Why are you asking me that?
Right.
Well, the guys and I were having a beer. We were talking about shoe size, and then I was just curious. Again, just making it sound so. This guy sitting around talking, "Hey, what's your shoe size?" Well, it's been so long, and his love. He's not keeping like a state secret or anything. Well, it's been so long since I bought shoes. He checks it and says, "Uh-oh, these are Al Winstons or something Winstons."
Mm-hmm. Must have gotten a switch during the party in Sweden.
the numbers rubbed off. So okay, well, I have no way of knowing. And then he asked,
This
Bob,
is great.
well,
Why don't we take off my shoes, and then I'll put on Winston's shoes, and then we can figure out the difference about what size I wear based on that. And then Bob just gives like the most like, what the fuck are you talking about expression on his face.
basically, it's like, you know what? I've exerted all the patience I'm willing to over this gift for this man. I'm just going to be directed back.
Howard?
It's just
You like fruit? You know, I know you like tea, but do you like fruit?
I love it. Well, put your shoes on, Howard, because now he knows exactly what's going to get him.
Oh God.
Okay, he mentions that he's on his. He mentions he's on his way to spend an early Christmas with his son before he goes to his grandma's house over some other place. Because he's divorced. That's the thing. Divorced pilot. Let's see. Emily questions. Well, how do you? He asked Emily. Let me ask you this. My gift I got for my son. I wonder if you could give me some advice on gift wrapping. How do you gift wrap a puppy? And she goes to check on something. And then Howard kind of gives Bob a heads up here, asking, "What did you get Emily for Christmas?" Well, I haven't gotten her anything yet. I mean, yeah, I'm still looking for something to get her. And he says, "Oh man, you should see, you lucky man. You should see what she got for you,
You lucky son of a gun."
Yeah, yep. And
this,
says, well, I was thinking about
this is kind of like the start of like building up Emily's present, but not really paying it off. It's the start.
I mean, they build it up greatly, though.
That's what I'm saying. They such a build up, and then it's like nothing. Anyways.
And so like Bob saying, "Oh, the suede coat, is that all? A suede skirt to go along with it, is that all? What is she getting me?" And he's just asking, "What is she getting me?" And he says, "Oh, I'm not telling."
Oh, God. Well, you better find something pretty quick, or you'll be gift wrapping an empty box. Oh, yep. You see, that was a little Christmas humor. Yeah.
I believe that's what his secretary says in the next scene. So,
I'm sorry. You're right. Again, I don't have names written down because I don't know the names of any of these characters. I just have lines, so apologies.
Well, apparently I don't know genders.
Apologies. Transition to the therapy office, I guess.
So Bob pushes through the elevator, which is
transition.
It looks so much like an unsure Batman. He's like weighing with his hands. Like, I don't know where this is going. I don't know where this is going. Anyway, so Bob pushes through an elevator, the packed elevator, and Slope is like, "Excuse me, out of the way." We've been there so many times. Being polite, be trying to shove through.
Again, I hate
Merry
to
Christmas,
Disneyland, but Disneyland felt like I was being packed into a human circus. So
I've been to Comic-Con. Come on.
Right on.
So let's see. So Carol, I haven't been to San Diego. San Diego, you need like an appointment to get stuck in line.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's see. So let's have a few Merry Christmases. Carol, his secretary. I love a good secretary character. This shows a little bit of promise. She grills Bob over lack of gifts, soon you believe wrapping an empty box, like you said before. And then I love this response by Newhart. Saying, "There's not coffee in that cup, is there?" "Nope, it's eggnog."
I gotta say something, Bob. I'm swacked.
Yep, and I see the water coolers filled with eggnog.
Oh God.
Yep, she's swacked. Bob mentions
you guys the most.
Jerry, the dentist, kind of the orthodontist, to be more specific, he walks by and he says, "Hey Bob, what are you doing here? This close to Christmas?" "Well, I got an appointment at 3:00." And then and Carol says, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, Bob. Your 3:00 canceled. Is there anything else you forgot to mention?" "Oh yes, there's one old man who called asking if you've been a good little boy." So obviously she snockered or swacked, to be more accurate. Jerry offers Bob some eggnog to loosen him up because, "Okay, Bob, it's a joke. I have some eggnog. What do you say?" So then he says, "No, he's got to do some Christmas shopping."
Okay, I'll take both eggnogs then.
And then we have the gift recommendation from Jerry, which is not a tubaphone, but something equally as interesting.
A water pick.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Are we going to start a running thing out of this now? I hope not.
Well, not now, apparently. I can hear the energy deflating out of the room, so no.
Get a water pick, folks, for all your dental hygiene needs. That's right. Who needs to go to the dentist when you have a water pick? God damn it! Yeah. All right.
Got something stuck in your teeth? Not anymore. Water pick.
1-800 water pick.
What does it run on? Water. And batteries, most likely.
Oh no. Okay.
Anyway, so Poisey suggests the water pick, and then the
I don't know how to tell you this, Jerry, but water picks aren't really a sentimental gift outside of the dental hygiene business.
He says, "Do you think Mom won't like hers?" And then we have the elevator gag, and they're all trying to squeeze in there, and Bob is forced out by a mailman.
Mm-hmm.
We have these really lovely transitions, I will say, seeing the exteriors kind of snowing down. They're really nice exterior shots.
And I also love the, probably my favorite thing in the entire special for me is the interior shots we get with the snow falling from the window.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. Just that little element of set decoration, it's just lovely to me. It just absolutely radiates kind of like that ending of Bates Motel Season 4, Norman Rockwell quality. Anyways.
Well, I don't know. That was an amazing experience. I don't know if we can compare it to that.
We'll get to that.
I'm saying that's like up in my Winter Soldier shelf of emotional moments there. It's like, oh my God. Getting a little weepy just thinking about it. Let's move on. So, Bob, he puts the gift under the tree, which looks really nice, like a little kind of a little circular box and up another box. Okay, mm-hmm. Bob's he's got a really cool Christmas gift to brewing. Emily comes in the door. She asks, "Well, how'd you hide it?" Well, the department store actually, I got to the department store and they left it here for me. I don't know, something. Well, he's making a smart alecky comment.
Yeah.
Then when she comes in, okay, let me show you what I got you. It's a big tray of gifts. And he says,
this is what bugged me, Dragon. It's like I wanted to see what all of this was. It's a smorgasbord.
And then remember, it's and then it says, "Is that all? That's all for me." All right, let me get the rest. It's basically this giant, huge one too, in addition to that giant tray of gifts. And I love this again, just without missing a beat. Taking master of time in here, Bob Newhart. Then just the swift motion, he grabs his coat, checks, make sure he has his checkbook, and she asks, "Where are you going?" "To get the newspaper."
With my pocketbook.
with his checkbook.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Anyway.
So then they're later on in the evening. They're watching TV, looking through the channels. I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Christmas Carol, seen it. Just clicking the channel. The Nutcracker Suite, seen it. We hear some. Yeah.
Then we get Perry Como. The Perry Como sings the holiday classics. Apparently, coming like Perry Como looks younger today than he did 10 years ago. And then there's a knock on the door. Bob asks, "You expecting someone?" And Emily's like, "No, just someone down the chimney." And then
hey, Diggy, take him through the party. I'll be right back. Just real quick. I'll just take him up to the party.
Up to the party. Okay. So Howard comes in and he is he's kind of avoiding the mistletoe because instead of Emily being there, it's Bob. And Howard just says like, "Well, I'm off to France. See you guys later. Just wanted to wish y'all a Merry Christmas." And then, the two kind of mention like, "Well, why are you working on Christmas Eve, Howard?" And this is nice. Howard just says, "Well, after the divorce, it kind of makes me a little merry to be around families, to be around families traveling for Christmas. It's just a little holiday cheer." I thought that was nice. So Howard just very, very sadly, he's like, "I'm going to go over and hang around until the flight leaves at the airport." How long that can take, Howard? Oh, maybe 7 or 8 hours. So, of course, they invite Howard in with them to spend Christmas Eve with them before going off to France. And, Howard at first, he doesn't want to be intrusive, but they're insisting, no, we're just sitting here watching Perry Como. Come in. So Howard comes in, he thanks them for the basket of fruit. There's a watermelon at the bottom of it. It was huge. There was also a hamburger on a stick and also a recipe for rock soup. I've got it made, guys. Thank you very much.
Okay,
so speaking of rock soup, BlueDragonFive, Howard asks for some soup himself, and then all All Bob has is warm cream soda as a substitute for the soup, and that's where I'm at. Okay, so then let's see.
Right. So after the warm cream soda, it's
Yeah.
they toast their Santa mugs despite 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 having Perry Como to bask in the mood here. They feel that something's missing, and this is a nice bit here too, where Bob refuses to let Christmas get him down. You know what? Let's have a party. Basically, leads like, hey, let's have a Christmas party.
Well, where are you gonna find time with to round up a bunch of people with nothing to do on Christmas Eve? In my business, that should be hard.
Yep. And we see the place is chock full of patients. They're having a question. Do you think they're having a good time? Well, for them, that's a yes. They're all just kind of silently just kind of there.
I got to bring in my own personal therapy thing. This kind of thing could probably be done like if you planned it out in advance. I think if a therapist just all of a sudden, like on Christmas Eve, was just like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to call up a bunch of my patients and say, get the fuck over to my house. Like, I know Bob Newhart literally didn't be like, hey, Barry, get the fuck over to my house. Thank you very much. But you know what I mean. It's like,
look, it's not
out of bed. It would have been a little more. I just think like just the fact that it's so impromptu, it's a little bit irresponsible because Bob knows that these people are unhappy on Christmas. So I realize that Bob had good intentions. I'm not saying he didn't, but I don't know. Just again, ignore me. I'm just gonna kind of get off my soapbox now.
Isn't that all the more reason that he knows they're not doing anything around the holidays? So why don't they invite him over, give him a place to be around the holidays?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm saying that he knows they're not.
He has good intentions, but I think just knowing what I know about therapy, there could be a little bit of irresponsibility here. But like I said, I'll stand back.
So let's see. So Barry asks where the restroom is. It's explained that Bob explains to him, well, you know, this isn't my office, right? He says that was a joke. It wasn't funny. Was I love how much of hypochondria is about humor here. It was just saying, so it wasn't funny. You didn't laugh. If she didn't laugh, I'm sorry. Well, for even trying, poor Barry.
I find that very relatable because I'm kind of one where, you know, I've developed a certain rapport and sense of humor on this podcast. And when I try and use that sense of humor out in the real world, sometimes it doesn't necessarily work. And I get into kind of awkward Barry-like situations myself. So I felt very relatable to Barry right here in this instance.
All right. See some more patient comedy here where Howard's explaining to a woman, Mrs. Bakerman. Mrs. Bakerman on the couch here, explaining to her, well, you know, flying, you shouldn't have a fear of flying. It's more dangerous. Flying is much safer than even driving. I'm afraid to drive, too. This is then, actually, there's someone brings up the fact, you know, the couch, there's some fact about, you know, people get injured on couches more than driving, even then that spooks Mrs. Bakerman.
Right.
So Bob tries to rouse the guests. You know, it's okay. Let's everyone. You gotta liven the party up here. Let's do Christmas carols. What do you say, everyone? So they all they think, okay, let's sing "Come All Ye Faithful," which Ken, the King Moody character,
Ken.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Ken shares an anecdote of which he spent a lot of lonely Christmases, and he used to sing with the janitor because he was all alone, which is really sad. And then the sad feeling spreads across the room like a virus.
It's like a Norma Bates virus, just like vials of Norma Bates tears just spread through the room.
Oh God, that sounds like the most evil plan in the world.
Just bottle Norma Bates's tears, and it'll just like make everyone sad.
I'm just thinking, you have like one vial of Formiga tears.
Oh,
put it in like the Ganali device from Amazing Spider-Man, and there's like a plume of sad blue snow is in the air.
And then all the tears would like form like mini pouty Formiga faces, and they'd be like, so sad, so sad, so sad.
It's kind of like remember from Courage the Cowardly Dog, we had like the giant, like the cannonballs of sadness and everything.
God. All right. Anyways.
So point is, they're all thinking about Christmas carols. So "Come All Ye Faithful" is kind of shot down as the song of choice here, because again the sadness is spreading through the room. They get that sad feeling. They're all in their stomachs. Mrs. Bakerman, she says, "Oh, I could be with my son." I could be with my son. If basically, I think our pilot kind of mentions about being lonely around Christmas and missing his son, and Mrs. Bakerman says, "Oh, I could, I could be with my son, but if there was a train that went to Florida, sorry, I went to Hawaii.
Yes, yes.
Uh, let's see. So then they're thinking like Little Town of Bethlehem. Okay, let's just sing Bethlehem.
I gotta say, Bob does not do a good job of picking up tempo carols. It's like no jingle bells, no deck the halls, Bob. I don't know.
I think
Did
that's
you
the
notice
gag,
that?
though.
I guess
that's
so.
the gag.
I guess so.
He's just really bad at picking the songs from the script.
Right. I mean, what's he gonna? It's like he might as well just do Silent Night if he's just gonna be a downer about it. I'm just ribbing him. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, let's see. So, let's see. For a moment, it seems like Little Town Bethlehem clears. Like, okay, we're all good with that. Okay, what do you think? Okay. Barry then pulls Bob aside to mention that the faucet broke off in the bathroom and he jammed the robe in the pipe. Oh no, it's fine. Importantly, he offers to pay a plumber because caused a lot of trouble. No, it's fine. And that Bob Newhart, nice guy. Then Barry reveals that he's half Jewish, and it's hilarious. I think Emily says, "Well, you can just hum then." Pretty funny. So he feels he feels like he's spoiling the party.
Yeah, and then Bob kind of feels depressed because this is the worst party he's ever been to because he feels bad that he threw it in the first place. And then Howard kind of makes a realization about, well, I thought I was the only one having a bad time, and that was getting me down.
I don't know if that was Howard, but point is they're all feeling like
it was Howard making that realization.
Okay, it's
Anyways.
No, I don't. Doesn't. I'm forgetting it. It's not important. Anyway.
How can I forget about Howard Hamlin, Dragon? Come on.
It's not. Point is, so it's all is triggered by Barry blaming himself for kind of lousing up the party, and basically this Bob then, as a result of all of them kind of blaming themselves, Bob blames himself for how lousy the party is, which ends up cheering up the room, and they're all reassuring themselves that they're not wrecking the party because again someone's taking the blame for us. It's all on me, and it's like, oh yeah, we all were thinking self-consciously thinking it was ourselves, so we feel a lot better now, which is pretty funny.
Right.
And they all just kind of bond over having a rotten time, and they're singing the song. Jerry drops by again, the orthodontist. He tells the group, well, I hate to interrupt. Again, it's like they're finally all singing, Jerry. What could be so important? There's a 61 blue Ford that's being towed, and Barry says, I knew I shouldn't have sang that song.
Then I love this. He's just like, you know what? I don't want to spend Christmas Eve in a police garage. I just spent Thanksgiving there. Merry Christmas. I'm staying. I don't care about the car.
They all sing Deck the Halls. Jerry feels a little left out, and the word sad is mentioned, and they're all starting to freak out. And then Bob quickly corrects, no, he said glad. And they're okay, and they all continue singing. And we get our post-credit thing.
That post-credits is just like...
Well, okay, fine, not our post.
Yeah, it is post-credits. It's post-credits. You're right.
Well, we have a during credits thing, so this is it. Then point is the next scene. We see this beautiful exterior again. It's nighttime. It's snowing. There's not a light on in the room. It's Bob and Emily having a little moment here, asking, "Are you happy?" By the tree. It's a really sweet thing. It's sealed with a kiss, and the thing's done. It's snow by the moonlight. It looks really beautiful. And of course, let's address it now. There is a big missed opportunity in that we do not find out what is in.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
I mean, I gotta tell you, it's somewhat refreshing that we don't. We kind of. I'll admit, because it's so extravagant, you want to know. I get that, and I can definitely feel you on that one. But I think had it been just the idea of,
I wouldn't even cared about any of the other presents. You know what one I really was curious about was the giant flat one that was holding up all the other ones. That was the one I really wanted to know about. I wouldn't have given a shit about any of the other ones. I just wanted to know what the giant flat one was.
Yeah, I mean, a part of me thinks it's kind of refreshing that we don't find out and we don't need to, but the fact that it's so extravagant, you really are curious. That's where it kind of breaks down. It's like it's kind of a respectable change, though, had it not been so tantalizing. They made it too tantalizing. That's the issue.
Exactly. I think it's a minor issue, though.
Yeah, it's fine. Anyway, then we finished during the credits. We had just Deck the Halls finishing out amongst the group, and it's nice. And it's over.
He finally picked an up-tempo Christmas song. Good job, Bob. Good job.
Remember, he didn't even pick it. I think it was like Emily or someone just started Deck the Halls.
All right, so that was the Bob Newhart show, his busiest season. Final thoughts, Dragon.
Again, I liked it. I thought it was fun. Thought it was innocent enough. It wasn't the most dazzling out of all of them, but it's like as a first introduction to the Bob Newhart show, I can see the premise. It looks pretty harmless and fun. Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I actually think just talking through it, I'm a little less sour on it than I was. I'm not soured on it at all, actually. Like you said, Dragon, it's very quiet. Like, I think that's a good word for it. It's very underplayed. It's very understated, if you will. You know what I mean? It's like there's not a lot of flashiness going on to it. There's not a lot of like big over-the-top belly laughs going on. All the humor is mostly, like you said, and just the comedic timing of Newhart. And there's a lot of nice kind of sentimentality to it. So overall, I think it is kind of like one of the less show-stopping things that we've done on Christmas in July thus far this season. But it's nice in its own right, and I think it holds up. So I guess tropes then.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. There's the buying a Christmas gift at the last minute.
Of course, the extravagant Christmas gift and needing to find the perfect Christmas gift, of course.
Yep, definitely, which is going to come back a lot this night.
Depression around the holidays.
Yep. I don't know, therapy around the holidays? I mean, I think going forward...
I would chalk that up to holiday depression.
Okay. Let's see. Eggnog. A lot of eggnog. Okay, there's Christmas commercials.
Well.
A lot of like Christmas television within the television's holiday special.
Love Harry Como. Oh yeah.
Oh, gotta love the Como. Oh my god.
Gotta love the Como.
remember, Alf, we haven't really had a Perry Como reference since the Christmas with the Joker, so way earlier than that. So Christmas with the Joker and Alf, we've had
back, Dragon. We're bringing Como back.
Oh yeah. Bring on the Como.
Oh god.
Como, come home.
Oh god. Oh no. Okay, let's see. Kind of throwing the impromptu Christmas party.
We have being away from a loved one around the holidays.
The divorced dad who wants to be with his family on the holidays.
Yeah, we have breaking stuff around the holidays. The faucet.
Just snow in general. Christmas carols.
Decorations. It's all.
Mm-hmm. It's all there.
Yep, I think it covers it.
All right, and this is very understated special, and it's so what we like to do here is we like to kind of take a look, and even with an understated special such as this, we like to kind of deep dive, imagine, and kind of like sift through and find the holiday goodness, sift through and create some sort of formula for what makes a great Christmas special.
But Tiki, what do we call it? What do we call this process of finding out which Christmas specials, what the process would be called, Tiki? There has to be a name for it. Do you have anything?
I think I do, Dragon. I think it's putting the mistletoe underneath the microscope next time on Christmas in July. Roger's an old man, and he couldn't win any sort of immunity challenge, except for name that prune or what Perry